What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show recap with Mo. Well, we're getting ready to get into a little bit of discussion of Tyler Perry's Sistas, but before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down. First and foremost, let me say, I hope that you guys are safe. I hope that you guys are warm. Snow is everywhere here, so we're still, pretty much locked in, with food and everything. So thank God we're good. I hope the same for each and every one of y'all. Secondly, I know I'm late on this one. Like I stated, it's a whole lot of stuff going on right here, but I definitely wanted to touch base on it before the episode tonight premieres so I can go ahead and get that thing swinging, right? So let's go ahead and get into this thing. So let's go ahead and kick it off like this. So we start this episode off with Gary and Penelope. Now, Penelope has just walked in on Gary doing his thing with Andy's panties in his hand. All right? She walked in, she saw it. She saw what she saw, Gary. Now, you are trying to convince her that she didn't see what she saw and seen. Or did she see it? No, you didn't see that. Just block that out of your mind, right? So anyhow, she was like, look, what in the hell are you doing? He was like, look, man, it's, actually it's your fault. It's your fault that I'm in here smelling Andy's panties. Like, because you ain't been giving me none for a while. So they're on the elevator going back and forth about it. He puts his hands on Penelope, which I'm like, uh-oh. Like, okay, where are we going with this? Then he blames her for him being in her closet smelling her panties, or clean panties as he stated, because you got a headache or you don't feel well. Like you're the only damn woman that's ever been pregnant before. Now, I've gone through this, but not once did I ever think in my mind that, oh, well, since she ain't giving me none, let me go out here and find it in the streets or go smell somebody's panty drawers so I can get my fix or whatnot. And did y'all hear him in the first part of it where he was like, hey, I was looking at you and I got horny while I was sitting in there in the room, and I'm like, hell to the no, bro. Like, he seriously has a problem. And I don't know if he knows he has a problem, but he really needs to get that worked on because he's going to end up missing out. Maybe he knows that he has a problem. Let me take that back. Maybe he knows that he has a problem and just doesn't give a damn, right? So enough talking about him. Let's go ahead and move on. So the next thing we see is Danny and Sabrina. Now, Sabrina is over at Danny's house trying to convince her that something isn't right. And she's like, look, maybe you're having these dreams because of your, unresolved issues with Preston. Danny's like, really? Like, I'm not having any issues. Like, I'm loving where I am right now. I got a man that loves me instead of a man that walked out on me. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Danny, my boy Preston, whether if I liked him or not, was trying to talk to you. He was talking directly to you, in front of you, trying to get your attention. You did not want the type of attention he was giving you. He was pushing you in a direction that you did not want to go with him. So you were like, cool, you can leave. Like, if you don't want this, then we don't have to do it. We could just be, whatever we are. All right? And he was like, look, I want a lot more from you. And you were not ready to give that to him, Danny. But yet and still you want to get emotional and get upset because this man went off, did what he said he wanted to do, which was to get married, which was to settle down. Like, how in the hell you going to get mad at somebody for doing what they wanted to do? And he let you know that he wanted to. Like, I want to marry you. Okay, when? Oh, we're not going to set no date right now. Well, I want to get married. Oh, well, I don't know if I want to get married right now. Well, what is it? What is it, Danny? Like, we need to work through this. But anyhow, moving on from there, and we're going to go over here to somebody else crazy. So Gary goes over to Hayden's house because he decides that he's not going to go back home with Penelope because he got caught jacking off. So that's your punishment for her? Or is that punishment for you? And then you come over to Hayden's house. You come over there talking about you owe me one. Hayden is like, what, fool? Like, for real? Like, why do I owe you? He was like, that PI that I hired, to peep in on Tamara? You owe me. That costs a lot of money. But yet and still, I'm like, why do I owe you? Because I never asked for you to do that. That would have been my response if I was Hayden. But he was like, okay, thank you. Then he forces this man to drink with him. And Hayden really doesn't want to do it. But I'm like, Hayden, you need to grow some daggone balls. You could do this with all the ladies in the world. You can stand on business when it comes time to getting into Fatima's ass and Andy and all these other women. But when it comes to guys outside of Zach, you can't do shit. And I'm like, I'm looking at you sideways like, what does Gary have on you that forces you to continue this relationship? Besides of the fact that you both are asses. Outside of that, I don't know what else you have in common. But since we're talking about assholes real quick. So they're making this toast. Gary says, let's toast to effing bees and getting money. And Hayden is like, hold up, man. You acting like you ain't got no whole fiance or whatnot. Gary's like, man, please. I ain't never thought about getting married. It was all to just buy some time. And Hayden is like, damn. Like, even Hayden, it's bad when Hayden is the one that's like, damn. Because he could do some evil, conniving stuff as well. But anyhow, going on from there, let me step back real quick. Gary is like, by the way, do you know a guy by the name of Jordan Williams? Hayden is like, yeah, I know Jordan. He was like, well, you and I both, we're going to ruin this man together. Hayden is like, hold on, wait a minute. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Unless he touches my woman or he messes up something that got going with me, then I ain't concerned about it. Gary's like, okay. Now, this is my thing about Gary. Why in the heck are you so concerned about everyone else? Specifically when it comes to Andy and Jordan. Like, I thought you were over her. But obviously you're not. Because now you're trying to ruin everything that comes with her. As I stated in the previous video, he seems like one of those guys that if I can't have you, if I can't be happy with you, then I'm going to make damn sure that you're not going to be happy. And the person that's with you ain't going to be happy because I'm going to make their life and your life a living hell. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, man, the only way that you deal with people like that is to get rid of them. I don't know what y'all have to do, but y'all going to have to get rid of Gary. But it looks like he's going to get rid of himself. And we'll talk about that later. But anyhow, going on from there, we see Zach and Fatima. Now, this scene right here was real quick. Really wasn't needed. But I guess we were able to pull some of the jewels out of it as needed, right? So we see Zach making, breakfast for his wife-to-be. And he conveys to her that, he was thinking about setting up a trust for Michael and, of course, for Zach Jr. Now, of course, Fatima is feeling some type of way about that because she feels deep down inside that she should be the one to birth the child and have the opportunity to name that child Zach Jr. first, because she wants to build that legacy through Zach. But the issue is Zach isn't mature enough to have this conversation. Let's be honest about it. The way he was acting when she mentioned it to him, like instead of having a full-fledged conversation with a grown-ass man and a grown-ass woman, he's up here making facial expressions, acting silly as hell. Like, if your woman is coming to you and she has a concern about something that you brought to the table, like this is during the time we were together, then you need to hear her out, Zach. That's what you need to do. But anyhow, moving on from there, we head over to the law firm where we see Andy and Hayden. So they're having this conversation and Hayden is like, what's up with Gary? Andy's like, what are you talking about? He was like, well, I don't know what's going on, but he and his fiance, they beefing right now, and he actually spent the night over my crib last night. Now, of course, Andy was like, well, that's strange because they both came over to my house for dinner last night and everything seemed cool. So Hayden was like, look, man, I don't know what he got going on, but he definitely got to get up out my house because we ain't cool like that. Andy was like, I thought you guys were BFFs. He was like, hell to the no. Like, I don't even know what this man does for a living. Well, Andy's like, well, he's over, he runs a hedge fund or whatnot. Hayden is like, I don't know too much about that. I think he's into some other shit. Like, I think he's into something else, right? So when they getting into the thick of the conversation, in walks Fatima. I wish she could have stayed out of the room for about 2 more minutes because we were getting to some shit here. I mean, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm just being honest. And Fatima came in messing up the whole vibe. Like, we were vibing, we were good, we were figuring out what we needed to know. We were getting to the meat of it all so we can finally get Gary in his place. And Fatima came in and messed it up because of whatever she got going on with him and whatever he got going on with her. Like, y'all could have left that alone so we could get to the point. Anyhow, moving on from there, man, we head over to see Karen at the salon, and then walks Pam. Let me go ahead and deal with Pam real quick. I don't know what Pam got going on. I don't know what side business she got going on, but Pam has, she got boxes coming in. This guy by the name of Trey came in and delivered, some boxes or whatnot. He gave her a card saying if you needed to return something back. Anyhow, Karen is like, hey, Pam, like, you're going to have to stop all these boxes from being delivered or whatnot. So they open one of the boxes up, and Karen pulls this container up to her nose where she smells it. She was like, oh, what the hell is this? And then she touches it, and Pam is like, oh, it's bull sperm. And she was like, look, it's for my business, for my hairline. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this, her business or your business? So anyhow, moving on from there, I'm gonna speed through this very quickly because I'm gonna touch on the big points. So Sabrina calls Karen to invite her to come out with the girls. Of course, Karen declines on the phone. But while Sabrina is still on the phone with Karen, she asks her a question about her future. Like, has she ever thought about the future, or, a family and all of that stuff? Woo. Karen is like, well, right now I'm solely focused on my business and my baby right now. That's the only thing I can be concerned about at this point in time. And you have to respect her on that. We'll talk about some of that stuff a little bit later. So anyhow, going on from there, we see Andy, Fatima, and Zach at the office. And Andy's pretty much telling them, like, the arbitrator will hear both sides of it. And if you have any documentation, anything you need to bring to the table, make sure to bring all of that. Zach is like, look, I got witness testimony, I got doctors, bills and all of this stuff, etc., etc. And it's like, well, it looks like you got everything good to go. The last thing I need to know is when is the date. What? Hold on, what date are you talking about? Both of them are looking like, what date are you talking about? And she was like, the wedding date. Of course, Zach was like, yeah, when is the wedding date? And he's looking at Fatima. Now, Andy is looking at Fatima. Now, once again, Fatima, I need you to be that woman that you claim to be. Stand on your business and be honest with Zach. Now, I know that you guys have had this conversation previously, like you want all of his ducks to be in a row, Auntie Fatima. You want all his ducks to be in a row, and you want everything to be right. So when you get into this situation, you won't have any possible setbacks. I get it, but it's time for you to be honest with Zach. And either he can accept it or not. Just be honest with him. So anyhow, going on from there, there's a scene of something over there at the airport with Danny and Tony. We're not really going to get into that. That was a whole bunch of fluff. Sabrina and Maurice. Now, Sabrina comes over to Maurice's crib. Now, Maurice is working on his computer. Now, I guess he's into business, whatever his business is, and he's claiming that he's making money off of it. Now, Sabrina's point of being over there to begin with, first and foremost, I don't know why his door was ajar for her to just be able to walk in freely when he's doing the type of work that he's doing. I'm just not for sure. But anyhow, she's like, look, I just came over here to get the dress. He was like, oh, what dress? Long story short, he used that dress for one of his clients. All right. And we're gonna move on from there. I'm just not sure what Maurice is doing with his life, and I'm not sure what the writers are doing with Maurice's storyline. Right now, he really doesn't have anything that he's doing per se. He's just going through the motion. Like, he has no career aspirations right now. He's not doing anything to get himself out of this situation. So I'm like, what in the hell are we doing with this storyline? Which concerns me a little bit. Next, we go on from there to see the ladies at the restaurant. Now, when they get to the restaurant, we see the four ladies. We see Andy, Sabrina, Danny, and Fatima. Now, while they're, talking and whatnot, off to the side, we see Karen. Now, Karen had conveyed to Sabrina that she was not coming. All right, first and foremost. Maybe that's why they invited Fatima. No one knows for sure. But it was mentioned on the episode by Zach. But anyhow, going on from there, they get into this conversation about their guys or whatnot. Fatima's like, look, he's talking about babies and he has this name that he's giving to, the unborn child of Karen by the name of Zach Jr. Now, that wasn't the most shocking part of this conversation at all. The most shocking part was when Danny stated that there was a possibility that Zach wasn't the father. Fatima heard that and she was like, so you're thinking that as well? And I'm like, hold on, here we go. So Fatima is feeling some type of way about this whole situation, definitely when it comes to the fact that Zach wants to name this unborn child Zach Jr. when she feels like she's supposed to give that man that legacy through her, not through another woman that's outside of the marriage, all right? Secondly, she does not believe that the child is his, all right? We see the baby bump now, so we're going to get off the baby bump. But now she doesn't believe that the baby bump belongs to Zach. So we're going to leave it at that for right now. But going on from there, what do we have next? Oh, we have the scene over at Danny's crib with Tony where she pretty much conveys to him that she's going to give counseling a try, which that was cool. But that wasn't the part for me. The part for me was when his ass was trying to get her ass up to pick her up and hold her all the way over there to that bed. Hey, bro, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. It's time to let it go. And that's exactly what he did. He dropped it down on that mattress. Going on from there, let's get serious real quick. So we see Sabrina and we see Rich. Now, obviously, they got this little relationship going on, and this is vital to everyone that's trying to get in a relationship or are in relationships right now that you want to move to the next level. It is imperative. I can't say this enough. Let me stop the music real quick. It is so very important that you have conversations with individuals before you get too deep in the relationship. All right? This right here, y'all can bring it back in. This right here is serious because Sabrina is on this kick right now where she's talking about marriage. She wants to have a family because she can feel that time dwindling, right? That biological clock is ticking. And she doesn't want to be super, super old, trying to have a family, have a husband and all of that, which I get. But you never had these conversations with Rich when you first got involved with him. So now you're talking about, well, how many kids do you want? This man says, none. Hold on, wait a minute. You said how many? He said, none. And she was like, okay, well, have you ever thought about being married? He was like, no. Like, I've pretty much given up on marriage, due to my first marriage. Like, I'm done with it, and right now, I'm just good with whatever we got right now. And she was like, oh, well, I can change you. No, the hell you cannot. No, the hell you cannot, Sabrina. If this man doesn't want it, how are you going to change this man to want something else? Now, I will say this, though. If he was on the fence, then there would be a possibility that you could persuade him, to at least think about it for a moment. But when this man without hesitation says nope and no, without thinking about it, without blinking an eye, then you need to let it be what it is. You need to go and find that man that wants those things that you want, Sabrina, and don't waste your damn time. Unfortunately, I feel like you've allowed the man that possibly wanted to give you all those things, you've allowed him to leave. And I'm talking about Calvin, who has ran off with the white woman. I'm just... So now you're talking about, I want your semen, and you go off into this room drunk as hell, and this man is like, let me button up my shirt and get the hell up out of Dodge. Man, you may not even see Rich. Rich might be gone. Anyhow, going on from there, next we see, I think there's a scene with Andy and Jordan, and he's trying to tell her his good news about him being endorsed by the mayor. She ain't really concerned about none of that because she's coming over there to get some of that, you know what I'm saying, and some of that ooh-wee. And that was pretty much it on that scene right there. So next we head over to Fatima and Zach's, where we see Fatima coming into the house, and Zach is getting ready to leave to go to the gym or whatnot. He's trying to give her a kiss. She ain't trying to give it to him. And long story short, she was like, look, we need to get Karen to get another DNA test, and we need to be there when she takes it. We don't need to take her word for it. I need to see it for myself. You need to see it for yourself. For some strange, odd reason, Zach is like, hell no, like, I'm not going through it anymore. Zach, you don't want to know if this is your child or not? Or, Zach, is this your way in staying in connect with Karen? Yeah, I said it. Is this your way of not allowing Karen to move further without you being close to her? You'll claim a child that you don't even know if it's yours or not? Damn. Love is a hell of a drug. Oh. Anyhow, Zach, he leaves. Fatima's cussing him out. He cussing her out. Well, he ain't really cussing her out, but it is what it is. But at the end of the episode, we head over to see Gary on the phone with, I'm assuming, is another woman. All right? He calling her baby. I got you flying first class. Whoop, whoop, whoop. In walks Hudson. Now, I stated that in my previous episode that I believe that's who it was. Obviously, that's who it was. And he's telling Gary, like, look, we got a damn problem. Gary's like, well, what is it? He was like, look, man, the investors are pulling out their money. Gary's like, what? He was like, yeah, like your largest investor, one of them that gave $50 million. He was like, look, his money wasn't registered with the SEC. Now, that's interesting because I don't even know how in the hell did he think he was going to get away with this if he wasn't trying to do half of the shit right. Like, at least, if you ain't going to claim some of it, what are we doing? And he was like, look, man, I need you to make sure you cover your trail, scrub the computers, shred everything. Like, we got to get rid of evidence. And Hudson is like, yeah, man, they throwing out like the word scam, Ponzi schemes, all of this stuff, and he just can't believe it. So anyhow, as Hudson is leaving, Hayden is calling. He picks up the phone. He was like, look, Hayden, I ain't got time for the BS right now. Hayden is like, good, because why in the hell is the FBI at my house? And I was like, hell to the no, man. So anyhow, that's pretty much the end of the episode, man. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I'm sorry that it's late, but it's better late than never. But I'm going to make sure it's right tonight, man. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Make sure to hit that notification button as well so you don't miss when I upload new videos on this platform. Thank you guys for your support, and stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see y'all later on tonight. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.